why in the world would they be treating something so natural unnaturally? Why would you shut that down? Why would you frustrate a woman's natural cycle and think that nothing is going to happen wrong from that? There would be no consequences from that. I must have heard this from a moral theologian, perhaps even from a doctor, could have been. But he talks about the pill as, first of all, you could not question it. I like that very much. You could not question it. If you questioned it, you were shut up, you were shut down. That was it. It was here to stay. It was now a new fabric of our life. That was it. But he also pointed out something that I had heard, and I say from a moral theologian or a physician or both, that all of a sudden women were being treated, or pregnancy was being treated, as a sort of disease, as a sort of there's something wrong with you. To cancel or postpone women's menstrual periods was seen as no big deal, no problem. When that struck everybody at the time, I was born in the 1950s, and in the 1960s, this really came to a head, and it was discussed openly. And I remember being part of those discussions, even in high school, thinking, why in the world would they be treating something so natural unnaturally? Why would you shut that down? Why would you frustrate a woman's natural cycle and think that nothing is going to happen wrong from that? That there would be no consequences from that. And that's what Tucker brought up. I had not heard that for years. I had not heard that observation. And the way he said it was very impressive, because they seemed to agree quite readily with him. And I think this is the first time in years that I had heard that same argument brought up, and all of a sudden, it made sense. The way he presented it, it made sense that there's something very wrong here. We always knew that there was something wrong with artificial contraception. And I repeat, I always say artificial contraception because it's frustrating nature. And the point that pregnancy in itself is almost treated today in Western society as a disease. And it's to be avoided. It's incredible how far we've gotten away from the nature of things. I was going to say the natural law, but let's not go there. Let's just say the nature of things, right? And we're frustrating an awful lot of things. I think Tucker brought that out beautifully. And in just a few sentences, he didn't go on and on like I just did.
Frank, your take.
Well, it's interesting that obviously the idea is said you can't touch abortion. Why is that? It's because it's being made identical in the minds of women with their own liberation and their rights. Now, you can't touch it because it seems to be personalized as an assault upon your rights. But I think the time is coming where it would be perfectly acceptable in the political mainstream to question the entire rights-based and liberationist agenda. Women are finding out now, increasing numbers of women are finding out that the pill isn't a liberating pharmaceutical innovation. In fact, it's a nightmare. Many of them complain of periodic and persistent mental illness, mood swings, depression, and a whole manner of hormone disruption disorders. It is an endocrine disruptor. You are taking a drug that disrupts your mood, your metabolism, your sleep, everything. In fact, it replaces your personality. And there's been books published on this by feminists talking about the dark side of the pill. In addition to this, the whole liberation narrative itself is beginning to fall apart. What women have been liberated from, as Father pointed out, is not just the disease of conception, but the disease of the family and the disease of womanhood itself. Feminism has liberated women from womanhood. And what has it left them? Concomitant with the acceptance and distribution of this technological advance, which replaced morality with bioethics, what happened alongside this was that women entered the workforce in large number. Effectively, since the 1970s, this has resulted in the abolition of the single-income household. This is a war on the family, because as the workforce doubled, wages halved. Alongside the introduction of the contraceptive pill, birth rates plummeted in the West. It's resulted in not only in what you might call national suicide, but in the inability of households to support themselves with a single income. and therefore making children not only chemically disposable, but also unaffordable. And I think that entire political paradigm has now been seen. People who've lived their entire lives under it have seen how unrewarding and annihilating it is. It's not liberation, it's annihilation. And I think the time is coming where you can touch abortion in that sense, because behind it is this belief in progress, this myth of liberation, which has delivered nothing but nothingness and mental illness to boot.
I am pleased to announce the launch of the new LSN TV app, which can bring all of LifeSite News' top video content direct to your phone, tablet, computer, and TV so that you can bypass the censors and keep fighting with us for life, faith, family, and freedom. Don't be alone in the darkness. We've been canceled. Fight the cancellation. Download the app.